Hi everyone, today we're gonna look at another problem, which is 128 longest consecutive sequence. Given an unsorted array of integers, nums, return the length of the longest consecutive elements sequence. You must write an algorithm that runs in O(n) time. Example. Nums 100, 4, 200, 1, 3, 2. The longest consecutive sequence. Alright, let me reread the problem description to see if I have any questions. And here we are given nums of unsorted integer array, and we will return the longest consecutive. Element sequence. So I think in this case it would be 1. Sorry, the longest consecutive element sequence. So that would be I think there is not enough of them. Alright, I'm wrong. So the output is 4. The longest consecutive element sequence is 1, 2, 3, 4. Therefore, its length is 4. Okay. The longest consecutive element sequence is 1, 2, 3, 4. But how does it get 1, 2, 3, and 4? So I'm assuming that we have to sort it first. And then we will get 1, 2, 3, 4, 100, 200. Let's look at the next example, which is nums equals 0, 3, 7, 2, 5, 8, 4, 6, 0, 1. The output is 9. At this point, I'm not grasping the concept of what you are gonna do here. So let me write down the example. So hopefully it will be clear to me. Three. So for the first one, the longest consecutive is 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the second one we have 10 elements with 2 zeros. Then I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So here I'm trying to sort so that I firstly sort it first, which means that it won't give us an O(n) algorithm, but hopefully this can give me some idea of what the question is asking here, because it's not clear to me. Okay, so I think what it is asking is to have a longest consecutive element sequence, meaning that if we sort the array, then we pick up the consecutive elements such as 1, 2, 3, 4, or 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 0, 1, 2. Alright, so I think I got it. I think it's trying to, given the array nums, we need to return the longest consecutive element sequence, meaning that we can realign all the elements into whatever sequence that we want, so that they are all consecutive, and you want to get the longest possible. I think I got some idea. I think we can use kind of a bucket, and then in this bucket we can tell whether there is a consecutive elements. The bucket will store the frequency so that we can just pick the length of the consecutive buckets with at least one frequency. So here I need to clarify a few things if I'm going to do it, because I'm going to expect that I'm expecting that we only need a limited size bucket. So the clarification one is so first question that I'm gonna ask is range of nums I. So we are given that nums I is between 10 to the power of 9 to 10 to the power of 9 negative towards of 9 to 10 to the power of 9. Okay. So if I'm gonna create a bucket, then I'm gonna need 20,000 buckets. So I think that is feasible. Then it is also given to us that the nums length is 10 to the power of 5. Yep. So in that case, I think we can do this bucket. I think I understand the problem now. I would like to have some time to think about it. So I'm thinking that in here we are enforced to write an algorithm that runs in ON time, and with the nums I between minus 10 to the power of 9 to 10 to the power of 9, our bucket size would be 10 to the power of 9 size. The algorithm runs in ON time, meaning the n is 10 to the power of 5. So I can only run through the nums without any nested loop. So if we do a bucket, then it would be ON times 10 to the power of 4, which is, well, technically that is is it ON squared? Yeah, that would be ON squared though. Interesting problem. Let's write an algorithm that runs in ON10. And 10 to the power of 5. The nums I can be very large and very small. I can create a dictionary, but then in Python, if I need to sort the key, then it will take on log n. So I have to solve this problem without any sorting. Okay. So looking at the first one, 100 for 200 on 3 2. So here, let me try to break it down. So if we have only the first element 100, then the longest subsequent consecutive element sequence is 100. Okay, 104 is still 1. 100 for 200, still 1. 100 for 200, 1, still 1. How about we are given 1 and 2? 03227584601. I actually don't have much idea, honestly, at this point. And it has been 12 minutes. I think I could possibly still have enough time in a real interview for brainstorming. But let me have a closer look here. The longest consecutive element sequence is 1, 2, 3, 4. Unfortunately, the bucket solution is the only thing that I can think of. So here it says that the algorithm must run in ON time, but it doesn't say whether the n is the nums length, but it usually is the length of the nums. Well, I think that's the only solution that I have for now. And in this situation, I'm gonna ask the interviewer, does this sound reasonable to you? I could only came up with these solutions so far. Another solution is has to run in on log n time, which is I first sort it, and then I find the longest consecutive elements sequence. So that would be on time to search, but then the sorting itself will take on log n. So for the second solution that I can think of is we create a bucket. Then what we would have for the first example is that we would have bucket 1, 2, 3, 4, then I'll be space 100, 200. The second one we will have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The third one it will be 0, 1, 2. Okay. So first of all, I'm gonna create a buckets. Okay, I got another possible solutions. So instead of creating bucket which will allocate O of 10 to the power of 9 size of space, I will just use a set to record the number that exists in the nums. And then I'm going to loop through from minus 10 to the power of 9 to 10 to the power of 9 to find the longest consecutive sequence that exists in the set. So initially I'm gonna create a set. Actually I could just override the nums into a set. Then I'm going to loop through for I from minus 10 to the power of 9 to 10 to the power of 9. Then I'm gonna create another variable. I'm gonna call it sequence length. Initialize it to 0. Then I'll check if I in nums, then I'm gonna increase the sequence length by 1. Otherwise, else I'm gonna reset it. But before I reset it, I need to check whether it is the max. So here I'm gonna create another one, maxi equals 0. Now before we reset it, we have to check before we lose the value. So maxi equals max of maxi, comma sequence length. So every time we go until the last element, the last element of a sequence, consecutive sequence, we check whether it is the maximum that we have seen so far. If so, then we update it. And actually I just noticed that that's the case. So instead of running through from minus 10 to the power of 9 to 10 to the power of 9, I'm gonna run until 10 to the power of 9 plus 2 plus 1. So that this will handle the test case where we got 10 to the power of 9 value. Then at the end, I'm gonna just return the maxi. See? So let's go through some example here. From range of -10 to power 9 for nums, I won't see anything until I encounter 1, 2. So when it is 1, for example 1 and then 1, we have a sequence length. So nums sequence length. No, the first thing that I'm gonna check is I. So the I will run from -10 to the power of 9 to 10 to the power of 9 plus 1. But I won't see anything until it is 1. Sequence length is 1. 2. The sequence length will update to 2, 3, 3, and then 4. Sequence length to 4. And then 5, it would be, we would set the maxi. Now maxi would be 5 pin here. And then the sequence length reset to 0. Then at some point we will have 100. Then sequence length will 1. Then still 5. The maxi is still 5. Then we see 200. The sequence may be 1. Then the maxi will stay still. No, sorry, 4. The 4. It's not 5, but 4. 4. 4. So that gives us the correct answer. The second one is the same. I don't think anything special. The third one is also the same, and there's not any. And it's I think that's not a very good example, but let me try. Let me add some more test cases if I can come up with any example here. But I think it's a both. But let me try to put it into the code here in LeetCode. Nums equals set of nums. Nine. So this one's negative 9 plus 2. In nums sequence length equals 0. Sequence 0. That else maxi equals 0. And we update the maxi is max between maxi and sequence length. Then sequence length is set to 0. The end we return the maxi. So let's run it. Okay, it's too slow. For this one, for this example, we can hack it actually. But that's not a good idea because the nums, the range of nums is still the same. So, Let me try it because the logic itself is correct, so at least we will get its correct answer for some test cases. Here I will take the max of nums, then run. Yeah, logic-wise it is correct, but the complexity-wise it doesn't satisfy what we are looking for. So let me try to submit it. I expect that we get a time limit exceeded, but what is wrong here? What is wrong here? R is an empty sequence. Okay, sorry about that. So hold on. Okay. So the okay, I see. I missed edge case. Edge case. Okay. Sorry about that. Nums 0. Yep, so it's got time limit exceeded. Okay. So what I can do here? So it got some values and then there is a large value. So how do we know that the next sequence is gonna be that part? Here if we have 0, 1, 2, 4, 8, 5, 6, 7, 9, 3, 55, 88, 77, 99, and then 9999999. Very last number. So the last number is what costs us a lot of time, because we are trying to go to all between 0 to the 10 to the power of 9, which takes very long time. I would like to try one thing though, because if we can go through, I'm not sure if this is the problem of checking the dictionary, because checking an element is in dictionary could take between O1 to ON, but on average it will be ON, I know that. But let me try to go through all of the elements in between 10 to the power of 9 to see if it is possible to look through the min and max. So here, let me just pass, and then I'm gonna return 0. Okay, it's wrong answer. We know that. But let's see if we get a time limit exceeded. Sorry, I can't do that. It won't. Let me run through the next test cases if I cannot pass through the current one. But let me try the other implementation using the bucket. I don't expect it to be correct, but at least we tried it. So min to max. So what we need here is we're gonna check. We should check whether the length is 0. If it's 0, then we return it. Then we're gonna create array of size min to max. So the min is 0, max is, and then we plus into. So the bucket size would be of initialize to 0 of the size is we could use the max nums. So here we need to be careful about the edge case. Min of nums. So this means this would be the size of the bucket that we need. And then we need an additional one to store the max. Right. Max plus 1. Okay. Then at this point we will look through all the elements in num, bucket, of num minus nums plus equals 1. Now let's just boolean here because we don't need to count. False. Then we'll look through all the bucket size. So that would be, I think we can reuse this for loop here. So for I in range of 0 to length of bucket. Actually, in here we can store an additional one so that we handle the edge case. Length of bucket plus 1. in range length bracket plus 1. Okay. If brackets of I is true, oops, that's a we bracket of I is equal to 9 plus 1, else max equals max is equals length max is the same. Bracket of I. Well, what is wrong here? Here we can just speed up the min. So min equals here we just use the min. Okay. Let's index out of range. So if we go through from 0 to bracket of I, interesting, because initially I have created from max of nums plus 2 minus mini, then okay, so this one should be assigned to true instead. Then the range of length of bracket plus 1, because I need to check the index length of bracket, right? Oh no, so the length of bracket is already all of the bracket. Okay, so what? So let me submit it. I expect it will get memory limit exceeded. Okay. How are we gonna solve this problem? So it says that this is consecutive elements. So meaning that 0, 1, 2. If it is sorted, then we can do it in ON. If it is not, which is the case here, unsorted. How do we know that 1, 2, 3, 4 exists in the first array if it is not sorted? It means that if we can add the values of previous number, that would be 100, 104, 204, 205, 208, and 210 doesn't help us. Right? It's sorted, then you table and log n. Let me try to sort it. It could be n. It's the n is 10 to the power of 9. So let me try that. Nums equals sorted nums. And I'm gonna go through the nums again. Sequence length. Let's see 0. So this is I minus 1. Start from 1 to length of nums bucket is what we want is nums I equals nums of I minus 1. Okay, the previous is the same as the current one that we increase it. Else then we get the max. So in the end we still need to check the max again because that would be the edge case there. So let's see if we get it right. Wrong answer. So num is the length of nums. Oh, okay. So it's not that this is the same, but if we add 1 to it, that will be correct. Okay, so here because there is duplicate, so I forgot to handle that. I think we are over time now. Yep, pretty sure that we are over time. So let me just ignore. No. In an actual interview, we need to do it formally. So we need that in here. I'm gonna explain my steps. So I will use a variable to store the previous unit character. So the previous in here is nums of 0. Then I'm gonna check whether the path plus 1 is the same as the current one. Okay. Then I'm gonna check if the path equals nums of I. Then I'll just continue. Okay. Actually, I can just remove the last condition there. So if the previous plus 1 is nums of I, then I increase the sequence length. And then I'm gonna set the previous to the current one. So that this is like creating a set out of the given sorted list. This should work. Then let's try to submit it. I'm expecting a time limit essay, but no, you're getting. Okay, skip the edge case again. If none of num is 0, 0, then we return 0. So we got a wrong answer over here. So we output 3, which I think is -1, 0, and 1. Okay, so the prep is always updated to the current. Okay, should be 1 here. Sequence length is 1. Previous. Okay, so we need to update the previous 2. So any of the previous would be. Actually, it doesn't make sense to store the previous. But if it is 0, then we can skip over it. But if it is the same, 0, 0, then we don't increase the count. So how do we solve this? I think we still need to keep the prep. If we see it is not increasing, as in 0, 0, so if length is sorted, then if the current one is the same as previous, then we should skip it. We should skip it. Right, so we don't need a prep. Let's just check it directly. So what we have here is that if nums is the same, then we just continue. If it is the previous one plus 1, then we increase the sequence length. If otherwise, then we skip. No, we check the max. Okay, let me test it. Wrong answer. Expected 4. Nums. Okay, so this is the previous one which I missed. Sorry guys for the frequent submission. I'm getting a bit nervous honestly. Okay, this is accepted. But it is pretty slow I guess, but let's see if after this submit. Gosh dang. Oh my gosh. Let's see the puzzle solution here. Wait, everyone is using short. Unbelievable. Okay, so this guy is not using short, but it is using set for non-set. How is this all n? Okay, let's take another example that has a fast runtime. Okay, this one is pretty simple. Import MSE, open display runtime txt.w. Okay, first it creates set, and then it look through all the element in S. If x-1 not in S, then current equals 1. I see. So this is looping through all the elements. Okay, I think this is a smart idea here, because this way it will get all the start, and then it will go through all the nums in ON. Okay, this is pretty smart, I guess. I'd say this is very efficient solution. But this is to create a num set. How can we do that? Right, so it creates a set, meaning that it will drop the duplicate. Then it get the first element of it, and then the next one, check. Let me incorporate the idea here. It's quite interesting, because here it is checking if this is pretty smart, I would say. So it looked through the same set just twice. Can we do it at one? So the idea here is that it goes through all the consecutive elements, but if the previous number exists in the set, then it will not go through that again. Okay, so let me try to do that. So here we will have nums equals set of nums. Then we will go through all the elements for num in nums with num minus 1 in nums. Then continue. Otherwise, then you're gonna check the length of the consecutive numbers that starts from num. So sequence length okay. While num plus 1 in num sequence length plus equals 1. Here sequence length is 0. Then num will be increased by 1. Max c equals max c, and then sequence length. Then at the end we can return the max c. So max c is initialized to 0. To 1. And the sequence length has to start from 1. Okay. Now, nums. So one thing that we can do here is that we can remove the num plus 1, the num plus 1 from the num set, but it doesn't have the complexity because removing an element will take all 1 as well. I think this is the most efficient that I have seen. Okay. Mean of 0, length of nums, 1. Let's see how it does that. Wait, but mine is not so fast. Pretty slow in mine. does it have to do? Okay, we got the right answer, but I'm just interested to know why mine could be slow. So let me check the differences. It doesn't matter though. I'm just curious. Okay, I think we are good now. Yeah. So I missed this question, which is not great. And we are over time, which is also not great. But we'll try our best next time. Thank you, everyone.